I don't mess with drugs no more, you know.
Give me a light.
Yeah, I thought you quit.
Just give me a light.
Drop your gun. Think fast.
Better to be dead and cool than alive and uncool.
Alright, today on the repertoire we have something from my childhood. I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I'll try to stay subjective as much as possible. This one was really unavoidable. It was running on national television all the time. I'm talking about Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man from 1991. Even though I watched it many times, there's some stuff in the background that I really didn't know. So way back in the 90s, Marlboro and Harley Davidson were like the biggest brand, especially in my part of the Europe, because it was basically American dream. But I really didn't know that they didn't get any rights to use the brand name. So that's why I got a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie. Also, I wasn't aware it was actually a box office flop because I was just a kid. Nobody cared about the numbers way back then. Also, some other stuff that was going on in the background. For example, Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson didn't really get along with the director, and he's the guy who made the Free Willy, by the way. Because they thought he was shit, like he didn't know how to set up the scenes and anything. But seems like Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson really did get along, and that's why we got this, at least for me, really good movie. It's like a time capsule, a timeless tale of a friendship, brotherhood, some revenge, some redemption, and basically, for me, it just works very well. So without further ado, let's dive into it, grab some chips, grab some beer, some bodies, whatever, and you can later tell me in the comments, did you watch it before, did you watch it after, did you like it, what's your favorite part? So we start off with introduction to a guy that walks out on a chick. He's kind of rough looking, bike riding, with spiked hair, and a tough guy all around. But we soon find out he's actually soft spoken, kind of hard.
You're the only family I got, Marlboro.
And just really bad at making hard decisions. He's in a search of God and ways to redeem himself.
If there is a heaven and a God.
And he's also heartbroken.
No kiss goodbye, no nothing.
And he's one and only Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson.
Played by Mickey Rourke. And as he's getting older, he wants to find God and chill with him a little bit. You know, take things easy and slow down. But trouble somehow finds him no matter where he goes or what he does. After this little self-reflection by Harley Davidson, we get a scene where he only wants to fill some gas, but actually walks into the middle of robbery, and that's where we also find out about his skills. He's definitely a brawler, not a shooter, which will be revealed in detail later on. On the other side, we are introduced to a cowboy that hustles pool while giving out some lessons in a club. It's a classic cowboy, but kinda boyish looking. He is promised money if he wins, but as it goes, the guy is not willing to pay, and we get a solid fighting scene. That's the introduction to the other part of the duo, and it's a Marlboro Man, also known as Robert or Bob.
I love you, Robert.
And this is also the reunion of these two. So the Marlboro is the guy who used to smoke, but now he's just pretending while holding unlighted cigarette in his mouth. Even Harley Davidson points out the cigarette needs to be lighted up to do something.
Yeah, I thought you quit.
Marlboro gets cut in a brawl from before, and both of them head out to get him patched. Here Harley reveals that he wants to hang out with God. Why? I don't know, he just wants to.
And a God. Yeah, I'd like to meet the dude. I'd like to go up there and hang out with him.
Also, they want to visit their old friends in a bar where they grew up, but the scenery has kinda changed, and there could possibly be trouble for the owner, their old pal. Marlboro is pissed at his old bike and shoots it up. That's where we find out that Harley is a really shit shooter and Marlboro is a gunslinger. By entering the bar, Marlboro types the code into payphone and secret room is revealed, where a non-verbal friend meets them and also warns Harley that it's not maybe a good idea to go inside because of their old friend Jack.
Pissed off at you? Nah. He wants to kill you.
Who is now married to a woman that Harley had some involvement before and still holds a grudge. Of course, Harley is on his redemption path and basically gets his ass handed to him by Jack, but in the end they work it out after falling through a window on a car. Their old pal, the owner of the bar, and his son tell Marlboro and Harley that they are in deep shit as their lease on the bar is coming up and they need to raise crazy amount of money just to put it up for 5 more years. Since Marlboro and Harley considered this bar a home, they decide to help out old friends by robbing the bank, who actually owns the lease and truck that transports the money. So what could go wrong? They come up with a brilliant plan to dress up as sewer workers and direct truck to a secluded location to rob it. Everything was going pretty smooth, but guys in the truck are no fools and they sound the alarm. Eventually, they're overwhelmed and robbed by Harley Marlboro and his friends, but a group of bad guys in what looks like second-hand Hellraisers in trash bags turns out and starts shooting. Here we are introduced to the first villain, Alexander, played by Stone Cold Daniel Baldwin of the Baldwin brothers fame. Marlboro, Harley and friends fight him off with the help of a Jack who previously turned down the idea, but got a change of heart, because they're bodies after all, and they all manage to escape with the loot. They escape to the plane graveyard and unfortunately find out it's not money they stole, but serious amount of dangerous drug called the Dream. It really sucks for them. Movie cuts to a conversation between Alexander and some greasy guy in the suit, who is actually the main villain in this story. He is the director of the bank and goes by the name Chance Wilder. He is played by really young Tom Sizemore. Rest in peace. He orders Alexander and crew to kill everyone and return the drugs. Way back in the bar, Marlboro is feeling bad about the drugs, and he tells Harley that it's not their style. He needs to blow off some steam, and since he's shot his bike, borrows Harley and goes out to ride. While driving, he notices a cop, flips him off and speeds away. We are greeted by a solid motorbike chase scene that ends up in bed. Well, cop is actually a chick that Marlboro uses from time to time. No better words for it. She's not happy about it and confronts Marlboro, gives him the news about her future marriage for another man. He doesn't really seem devastated because he knows that the life is not for him and his is not for her. Eventually they make love and the morning comes, so does the Harley, and he tries to make a breakfast for everyone, but other than that he's a shit shooter, he's also a shit cook. He burns down the toaster. He takes a chick for breakfast in a diner while Marlboro sleeps and gets some information about the drug Dream from her. Also tells her he's not into drugs anymore.
Don't mess with it, Harley.
I don't mess with drugs no more, you know.
Because of redemption and whatever, but doesn't really explain to her why is he asking. Oh, he's also broke and she has to pay for the food.
Broke.
They ride to her house, Harley sends her off, and as Marlboro comes out, they have a body moment where Marlboro is stressed out about the whole marriage situation and starts smoking again.
Give me a light.
Yeah, I thought you quit.
Just give me a light.
Also, his boots are shit, and he fixes them with some duct tape because of sentimental value, and steals a bike from future husband of his now former lover. For the love of everything, I still cannot figure out what's happening with Marlboro and his father. Is he really just quoting him? Does he even exist? It's not explained anywhere in the movie. It's just so strange. And he's mentioning him a lot. In their infinite wisdom, they head out to the bank to talk to the manager, who's our villain, and they make a deal to return the drugs for money. Harley and Marlboro make a bet for $1 and they set up a meeting with Alexander on a plane graveyard for exchange. Everything goes smooth and well, which is obviously unusual. There's no fighting, there's no shooting or any resistance by Alexander to hand out the money, but the guys are not fools and are quite suspicious. They're all happy and cheering and they return to the bar to give out the money to his old friend and his son. Everyone is celebrating with the liquor except Harley, who's given up on alcohol, and he noticed that Marlboro is troubled by the fact that the deal went really easy. So something is fishy. We find out that Marlboro was right, and Alexander comes with his goons to the bar. They shoot and kill everyone, but our dynamic duo manages to escape through the window that Harley broke before while fighting with Jack. They narrowly escape with a briefcase full of money through the airport, get on a plane cargo, and I guess fly off to Vegas. Do they fly to Vegas in a cargo? They just like teleport there. It's so strange. This movies sometimes really don't make any sense. Anyhow, devastated by their loss of friends, they wonder how Alexander and his goons found them. Yeah, Harley also took the room basically on top of the hotel because nothing else was available at that time. Harley's being an ass here and basically tells Marlboro that they have money and should just run away with it, but Marlboro is not having any of that. He punches Harley straight into the face and knocks him down. While on floor, Harley notices the dollar that was given by Alexander in the money exchange, which was meant to be a payout for a bet if he loses actually, is a radio receiver or a locator if you want. He figures it's a way how bad guys are tracking them. Meanwhile, Marlboro goes down to a bar and gets semi-drunk, calls his former lover, and what would you know? The bad guys, along with Alexander, find him again. He runs to Marlboro and tells him what's happening and they run on the top of the roof. Figuring out that there's no way they're gonna outgun and outman the bad guys, Harley proposes they jump off the roof into the pool. Well, Marlboro is not thrilled with the idea at all, but Harley still jumps. After some shooting and finding out there's no escape from the roof, besides pool, Marlboro jumps off also. Bad guys shoot a little bit, but Harley and Marlboro escape untouched along with the money. In next scene, they ride the train to escape the bad guys, just like in the old westerns. While riding, Harley tells Marlboro that he found out how they are being tracked, they should just give up and run away with the money to safety somewhere and live the rest of their days. Marlboro is not having any of that chicken shit behavior and tells,
Better to be dead and cool than alive and uncool.
filled with sorrow for losing his friends and now Harley, Marlboro goes to his former lover to say goodbye, and as he walks out, well, Harley appears on a bike with a apparent change of heart and tells Marlboro they are still buddies. Marlboro also got a gun in Denver, and if you remember, he's a shit shooter, and together they're gonna avenge their dead friends. We also find out why is Marlboro dragging these old boots around and always fixing them with a duct tape. So the story is, his daddy gave him the boots for rodeo, and it was the first and last thing he ever did for him.
My old man gave me these boots. It was the first and last thing he ever gave me.
Marlboro is also longing for a rodeo as a true cowboy would. We find out that Harley didn't throw the tracker, and that's how they drag out the bad guys into the same plane graveyard where they exchange the money for drugs, but this time it's daylight. Bad guys fly with the chopper to the location, gets dropped off, and we get some hilarious shooting scene by Harley. There's some shooting, bad guys are falling one by one, no thanks to Harley, which can't hit shit. Marlboro gets wounded and taken hostage by the Alexander. While holding down Marlboro as a hostage, Harley tries his luck to eliminate Alexander but fails miserably and shoots Marlboro in the arm where he was wounded previously. In second attempt, somehow he managed to actually shoot Alexander and they both kill him. That's the end of the first villain and one more to go. Marlboro and Harley get a guy who flew the bad guys with a chopper and basically hire him with stolen money to fly them to the bank for the main villain, Chance Wilder. He also tells them that bad guys were wearing some Japanese-made lightweight Kevlar under those trash bags of theirs, and that's why they seem so invincible. Marlboro and Harley made a deal if Chance doesn't pull off the leash on a bar that Marlboro would shoot him. They get to the office from helipad and surely Chance doesn't want to take off the leash of the bar. Figures. And Marlboro gets pissed but just can't bring himself to shoot an unarmed man. Harley throws an unloaded gun at the Chance, but Marlboro still cannot do it. In meantime, security comes up to Chance's office and our guys are surrounded by no means of escape. Fortunately, Chopper guy who they hired really hates the bad guys. He flies up to the office and with minigun attached to the chopper shoots the bad guys. Chance lives hiding behind the table. In his ignorance and pride, Chance is not aware that Marlboro is really pissed and doesn't take him seriously, considering that both of them are complete tools, which they kinda are. Marlboro pulls off classic Harley think fast trick and throws the gun at the Chance. They brawl a little bit, but Greasy Chance is a no match for experienced Marlboro even though he's wounded. Chance somehow gets a gun, but Marlboro punches him and Chance loses balance, almost falling through a window but still tries to shoot Marlboro and is deflected by a leg kick, which throws him back to the edge of the window. To not plunge into his death, and while balancing, Chance grabs Marlboro by the boot and pulls him off at the edge of the window, but Marlboro hangs holding a tin bar. Bar snaps, but no worries. Harley jumps in and grabs Marlboro by the hand. Those worn million-time duct tape boots finally give up, and in some really bad special effects scene, we see Chance falling from the top of the building into his death. Our guys survive and are finally free. We get to the final scene, which shows Marlboro finally getting new boots and doing what he told Harley before. He really wants to get back to the rodeo and be a true cowboy that he is. Harley picks up chick that's hitchhiking with the corniest one line ever.
Where you heading?
Nowhere special.
Come on, I'll take you there.
And they ride into the unknown. It's just the perfect ending. Okay, let's start with the good. So basically it's not a cinema masterpiece by any means, but you get a good shot of a Mickey Rourke who is like this mysterious guy who doesn't talk a lot, and he gets some weird reflections, some, I don't know, religious stuff going on in his head. I guess he's just full of regret, but when it comes to fighting, he's like no match to anyone. He just beats everybody. And the other part is Don Johnson, who you probably remember mostly from the Miami Vice and all the 80s stuff, and it's kind of weird for me to see him as a cowboy, but I think he did it really well. He kind of overplays it a little bit sometimes, but still, yeah, he does it really good. Unfortunately, there is not so good part, or the bad, and that's the main villain. That's Tom Sizemore. Unfortunately, he didn't get that much screen time, and his character is not developed at all. It's just looks like he's just like there. He's just existing in this movie. He doesn't contribute that much. He's just there because he has to be, nothing else. And also his sidekick, Alexander, played by Daniel Baldwin. There's nothing much to say about them. They're just there. They exist. And then we get to the ugly part. That's also some side characters. We get young Tia Carrera and all the other guys, but they just get killed off really early in the movie and they just don't get developed. And the ugliest part of this movie is the plot. It starts off strong, it starts off well, there's some mystery, there's some body stuff, there's some action, but at the second half of the movie it just falls apart. There's no clear ending to this movie, it just feels rushed. So people have been talking about this movie like it's some post-apocalyptic flick, but for me it just doesn't fit in that category. I know it's been filmed in 1991 and the movie is set in 1996, but there's nothing futuristic or apocalyptic in the movie, really. You get one scene with a futuristic Honda driven by a cop, and that's pretty much about it. So I have no idea whose idea was that this is a post-apocalyptic movie. I guess you never saw a Don Johnson in Boy and His Dog. Also, there has been some talks about remaking this movie with Tom Hardy and Aquaman, but for me, it just, yeah, leave it like this. It was great fun just picking it up again, watching it all over, just remembering some stuff. And as I said before, I don't think it's a cinema masterpiece, but if you want to have some pure fun, you don't want to think about anything, you don't want some great political plot or some, I don't know, DEI bullshit, well, this is the movie for you. Just to chill a little bit, kill some time. It's great. So please like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff, and see you in the next one. The end.